Hello Year 5 and welcome along to our next lesson, and today we are going to have a look at how the internet works. So that's actually our LI, is to understand how the internet works. So hopefully by the end of this lesson we'll have an idea. Now I think we'd all agree there are lots of things on the internet that we all love to do, and it's an amazing thing to have. So going to web pages, looking at pictures, watching videos, watching movies, talking to our friends, playing games online. It's an incredible thing that we all use all the time. Now, what is the internet is what we're trying to find out. So what it really is a network of computers all over the world. So it's computers all over the world that are joined together either by a cable, by a wireless connection, or even through a fiber cable. Now, this means that when you use the internet, you might be communicating with a computer thousands of miles away to get the information that then appears on your screen. So let's find out how that works.
Hello, Miss Pigeon. You probably use the internet to coo to your pigeon friends on Twitter. But have you ever wondered how it really works? If every bird's nest was a computer, then the internet would be like connecting every bird's nest together so they could all talk to each other. In computing speak, that's called a network. But it's not enough just to connect the nests together. The birds have to agree how they'll use the connections too, including how a message will be addressed and how it will get passed on. On the internet, these rules are called protocols. But what if you want to send something that's too big? You would need to break it up into small pieces to get it there. The internet works in exactly the same way, but these small pieces are called packets. Each packet includes instructions about how it fits together and details about where it came from and where it is going. Each computer on the internet has a unique numeric address called an IP address. And these can be looked up automatically using a domain name server, which is like a giant address book. When we have an address, the packets get guided through the internet by routers, which pass them along like a baton in a relay race. When the delivery arrives, the instructions explain how to put all the packets back together. Perfect. Oh, why do I bother? She hasn't heard. She's just a bird.
Okay, so lots of information there, so let's try and break it down a bit into the process that happens when you try and go on a website, try and get an image, try and watch a video. Okay, so first thing that's happening is you are making a request. So your computer makes a request, it asks for something. So let's say it asks for a web page, or asks for an image, or it asks for a video. So we've gone to a web page and we're trying to load an image. What happens next? We've clicked the link, we've clicked to open the page. Our computer sends out a request. It sends out a message to the internet asking for this image. Now this image is hosted somewhere, it's stored somewhere on a computer somewhere else in the world. Okay, so our computer sends out a message saying, I would like this image. And this request is sent as a packet, one of those little bits of information that gets sent out over the internet. And this packet has got all the information about what you want in it. So it says, I would like this image from this web page to my computer, please. Now, part of that information is your IP address, so where your computer is, but also the address of where the website you're trying to find out is. So the image, the address of where that image is. Now, a router, there'll be one in your home, there'll be one in our local area, there are ones all over the world, there are routers all over the world. And what they do is they read the information on that packet and go, right, this bit of information needs to go to this IP address. So they're trying to find out about this website, so we need to send it to this computer somewhere in the world. And our routers have got address books that help them to send the packages the right way. So you've sent out a packet with your address, but also the address you want to go to on it. And that gets sent out via the routers to different places, and eventually it will end up at a server. And a server is where that web page or that image is stored. So could be anywhere around the world. Could be that package could be sent through fibre optic cables under the sea or even via satellite to find the computer that stores that image. When you open that web page or file, the internet then opens all those bits that have been sent back to it in one go. So you've received the information back and it's ready to open that image. But often they've been broken up. We've seen that they're coming back in little packets. So you've sent out your request, they're sending you the image back, but it's going to come back in multiple parts. It's not going to come back complete. So what happens really is you end up with a bit of a jigsaw. You've got lots of pieces that have been sent to you one at a time. And your computer then has to piece them back together. And it does that using the instructions that are included in each of the packets. Each packet has a bit of information with it that says how it fits in with the other packets. And so it's a bit like you get lots of jigsaw pieces sent together and eventually you put the jigsaws together to get the complete image. So that request could go lots and lots of different ways. When you send that request out, there will be more than one route. If you think about it like a map of roads, there's more than one way to get anywhere. So depending on the amount of traffic there are on the roads, depending on how much traffic there is on the internet, your request and the information you get sent back will actually come and go via different routes. So it tries to find you the fastest possible route. And if that means going around a heavy traffic area, it will do. And then once you've got all the packets together, you piece them together using their instructions and you get the picture that you requested. Now amazingly, it took me about 5 minutes to explain that, but it happens in less than a second. You click go, your request goes out, you've got all the information on the request, the routers send it to the right server, the server reads the request, and it sends all the bits of information back to you in little packets, and then your computer puts it back together in seconds, which is incredible. Okay, here we've got a bit of a glossary of some of the terms that we've talked about here that might be useful. So we've got data packets, so when information is being sent from one computer to another, it's broken down into small bits called packets. Each packet includes information about where the data is going to, where it's from, and how it's reassembled. We've got IP address, which is the address, the Internet Protocol address, which is the address of your computer and of computers all over the internet. It's a bit like a postcode in your home address. So the IP address is a set of numbers that looks a little bit like this. So everybody that's on the internet has got an address like this. A switch is a smart device that connects together many devices and can act as a network. Some simpler devices use hubs rather than switches. A router is a smart device that directs and routes, where it gets its name from, information around the internet. When a data packet arrives, the router reads the IP address and information and sends the packet along the route to its destination. And finally, and we haven't really talked about this, but something to research perhaps, is the DNS. The DNS, the Domain Name System, is a set of standards on how computers exchange data on the internet. The DNS turns a user-friendly domain name like bbc.co.uk into an IP, an Internet Protocol address. So here we've got our LI for today and what you're going to try and do. So our LI is to understand how the internet works. So our bronze is to write a definition of what the internet is and some of the things it allows us to do. I talked about that on the first slide if you're struggling with that one. Silver is to create a comic strip storyboard of your computer making a request to a web page or server and show me what happens on each step. So draw out what happens on each step. Gold is then to write some captions for that storyboard. So under each box, tell me what's happening. And then the challenge is to explain what a DNS server does when a computer sends a request for a website. Our vocab is internet, request, server, router, and DNS. Best of luck, guys, and I will see you all again soon.